Okay, interesting. Alright, so it should all be working right now. Tends to be working fine, to be honest, but you know, I am never truly sure. Again, another impromptu live stream. Absolutely no plans to prompt you these, and it's been quite a while since I actually put any stuff out. Hopefully it's all going to work fine. It should be okay. I've got the resolution down pretty low. This is the kind of video you just sit and listen to as opposed to actually pay attention to. I'm going to have to turn the autofocus off, or else that is going to drive everyone absolutely crazy. Oh, amazing. My computer is absolutely loving life. Always does. Never does it hate being a computer. Autofocus off. There we go. So let's just get rid of that. Not important. That's not important. And there we have it. So I'm going to be here for about half an hour, just do some painting. I'm working on some Deathwatch miniatures that I've had built up and sort of ready to be painted for a little while now. I'm just adding in, well, I'm just basically painting them 2 at a time, just for fun, really. I want no plans to make them an army at all. Even with 8th coming, I'm not really interested in expanding. This is part of my sort of like take a story and make the units from the story. So this is from anyone who's familiar with the 4th captain of the Ultramarines. He is Captain Uriel Ventris, and in the book, what is it, Warriors of Ultramar, I think, he basically becomes a Deathwatch captain for a while. And so this is his Deathwatch kill team that he takes onto one of the Queen ships of Hive Fleet Kraken in order to kill the Hive Queen ship thing. And I'm just painting up his kill team. I've already painted him up. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved every second of painting him. And so I'm working on, at the moment, I'm working on Pausanias. If you're familiar with the story, this will make sense. Pausanias and I think it's Yengast or something. No, it's Yagutan, that's the one. Yagutan, the White Scar, and Pausanias, his buddy, who's an Ultramarine carrying a flamer with a bionic arm. I tried to keep it almost, well, exactly to the story. You know, with a blade on the White Scar. He doesn't actually have a power sword. He has like I'm going to call it a katana for ease. That's basically what he's got, to be fair. And I didn't like the Xenophase blade look. I was going to give him that and just paint it up like a power sword, but I decided nope. In the end, he was just going to have a power sword for ease, for that kind of keeping it simple gameplay wise. I'm not trying to cause any confusion, but I'm just painting up the shoulder pads. It's the bit I enjoy the most. It's the bit that gets me sort of started on the miniature, and then I kind of want to paint the rest. I have thinned down, just so you know what I'm using. Ceramite white is the colour I'm applying at the moment. It's quite thin. Well, no, it's quite thick coming out of the pot, but I thinned it right down. This is coat number 4 on the White Scar shoulder pad. As you can imagine, it's very much a game of patience when painting up white on top of black. And to be fair, the Ceramite white does give a really even finish. It just takes quite a few thin coats. The classic Duncan. Suffer not the alien to live. Exactly. Yes, love it. Some Deathwatch quotes there coming at me. Hello, Darkest Soul. Hope everything is all right. I know it's been quite a while since I've actually done a live stream and or put up a video in general, to be honest with you. Simple reason is I've got exams at the moment. I've got my first one due. I've got my first one in just over a week. And I'm just giving myself half an hour, 40 minutes to do some painting. I thought, well, I'll update you on what's going on in my life, what's going on in the channel, and other projects I've got coming up, which will be really exciting, actually. I'm looking forward to sharing some new stuff with you guys. Not just sort of new models and that, but literally new, like a whole new thing, which will be really exciting. I'm personally very excited for it. And I'm just really digging these little miniatures. But yeah, so Deathwatch are the painting thing at the moment. Well, I say that. I'm doing them in groups of 2. So I've already done the Watch Captain Uriel Ventris and the Watch Sergeant Damius. Again, these are all named characters from the book. Damius is a Raven Guard Watch Sergeant. Well, he's not actually a Watch Sergeant as such, but he has an Auspex and a Power Fist. You can't take an Auspex unless you are a Watch Sergeant, so by default, he became a Watch Sergeant. And he's just rocking a Power Fist. He just walks around smashing people in the face. It's very cool. And I've painted his skin, so he's very pale, just like Raven Guard. I've tried to go as fluffy as possible. And because I'm building a specific kill team, it's very easy. All the weapon decisions have been made for me. I'm literally putting these things together as I've read them in the book. And do you know what? This is a long extending microphone. I'll tell you what, actually, I'll wait for a showcase video. I won't drop anything too soon, but this is the work I've done on do you know what? Let's go like this. Bring him in a little closer. Does it like it? Nope. Okay, that's cool. Love it. There we go. So this is Pausanias. Again, if you've read the books, all would become clear. He's got the bionic arm, the classic Deathwatch shoulder pad there. And that's the black done through the airbrush. I absolutely loved painting through the airbrush. I'll be doing it again every time I paint black, basically whenever I go to do my Raven Wing, whenever I can decide on a time. And this is Yagutan, so obviously I'm trying to get a nice smooth coat on that, and then touch up the black as and when. But yep, he's just got the classic bolt gun, power sword combo there, looking very cool. I actually took quite a while posing these things. I was having an absolute whale of a time. I actually met up with Mike from Crurangulicilis even, nailed it, and basically went out on a little shopping spree and had a bit of a Deathwatch day with him, because he's got some Deathwatch he's working on as well, and just sort of made a bit of a day of it. It was really fun, actually. And yes, Deathwatch are so damn cool. Darkest Assault, they really are. But like I said, it's a limited collection for me. I've got a start and a finish point, which is nice. I won't be going overboard with them. They are literally just a 6-man in a Razorback, and that's it. And then I can ally them in, I can just bring them in for a bit of a laugh. They'll be good for games like Kill Team, and things like that. So yeah, in terms of other hobby updates, I've been working on 5 Ashen Circle and a Praetor for the Word Bearers. I actually finished the Praetor. I'll probably be doing a showcase of him at some point. And I've also painted a Land Raider for the Word Bearers as well, so just dropping in something kind of big there. And I have set money aside for 10 Gal Vorbak and a Spartan Assault Tank. Because I'm going to a tournament this summer, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to be doing a little video series on the tournament. Harry and I are both going. It's a 2,250 point 30k tournament in Southampton, which is near to where we live back home. I'm just very excited, all kinds of excited really. It's right up my street, 30k. I love the fluff. And that is why I've bought the 10 Gal Vorbak in a Spartan. I was going to take Lorgar, but 2,250 points doesn't quite fit him nicely. Personally speaking, I would rather it be... probably won't get the Lorgar out until you get to the 2,500 or 3,000 mark. I have written lists, and Harry and I have been using Vassal to test these lists. And what I was finding was if I included Lorgar, I didn't have enough objective grabbing units. I didn't have enough punch. In other units, I just had the Gal Vorbak, and I don't really want to only rely on one unit for the entire tournament. So, Lorgar did get dropped from the list in the end, through no fault of his own. Just he's a bit points heavy for a tournament like that. So instead, I've got a cool Praetor, one of the older Forge World models. I've got a Primus Medicae and a Chaplain Consul. Oh, hello Aceface, and thank you very much. Yeah, I'm super excited actually. It'll be my first ever tournament. I am going with the aim of having a nice time. And the list building process has been really fun. Just to look at it from a completely different sort of perspective. I normally build a list around a model or something, or one unit. And I've done the same this time, in all fairness. 10 Gal Vorbak in a Spartan is a tournament unit. And then everything else has kind of just been, well, these are the models I have. This will be fun to play. Let's see how we do. So we'll be doing a full sort of, probably a mini series on the build up to it all. Because like I said, it's both of our first tournaments. Never really had a competitive game, if I'm honest. So it'll be very, very different. I'll get the bug. Yeah, no, I'm really sure I will actually, because it's certainly something that I've been looking at doing for quite a while. Every time I've found an event near me, it's already full, or it's near me when I'm not near it, sort of thing, because of uni and that. So that's always been kind of a pain in the proverbial, so to speak. But I'm super excited about this one. Already made sure I've got the day free. Made sure I've got someone to go with. Oh, focus. There we go. And yeah, I'm ready to catch the bug. I want to be going to tournaments more often. And I think 30k is a good way to lean into it, because I know that it's a lot more narrative based. Although the tournament isn't a narrative tournament, the game itself lends itself to narrative play and play into a story and a theme. Don't get me wrong, there are some nasty units, 10 Galvor back in a Spartan being one of them. And I mean, anyone who knows 30k knows that's quite a potent unit, quite a scary. Don't get me wrong, not cheap, but it's more points efficient than 10 Terminators in a Spartan, and I would argue much scarier. Toughness 5, demons, rock in a 3-up save. And I mean, you get a war boss in every unit effectively, because you can take Artificer Armor Power Fist on the Dark Martyr, and he's got 3 wounds, 3 attacks base. They all have rage, so on the charge, every single model is getting 5 attacks, which is just nuts. They all have rending, but on this Power Fist, you get a Strength 10 Power Fist, and he actually gets an invuln save. So some might argue he's as good as a war boss, and they're all weapon skill 5. And with the Chaplain in there, with the Primus Medicae in there, with the Praetor in there to suck away any challenges, that's kind of my mini Death Star. I say mini, it's actually not that mini, but it is my Death Star unit. I did want one of them. It's an easy way to play. Deployment's easy, that was the other thing. I wanted to be really simple when I went to this tournament. I've taken things in duplicates. I've taken things that have transports, because I want to be not worrying about all these models, like deploying a unit of 20 tacticals or anything. I don't want that. Literally, I turn up, I have 5 Terminators are walking, 5 Terminators in a Land Raider, 10 Galvor back in a Spartan, and 2 veteran tactical squads in Rhinos, and I'm taking the Pride of the Legion Rite of War, because it's a nice easy way of getting the extra troop choices in there, and you get all the sniper veterans and stuff, whatever. Like, that's pretty good. So that's pretty much it, basically. It's just I'm only deploying 4 vehicles and a unit of 5 Terminators, and I wanted that to be the simple, so this first tournament wasn't going to be a giant pain in the arse, basically. And I'm also going to be building up a custom display board for it, so I'll probably make a whole series out of that at some point. But it's going to be based on, if anyone's read The First Heretic, it's going to be based on, I think it's Monarchia or Monarchius or something. It's this perfect city that the Emperor hates and has Guilliman blow up, basically. And so it's going to be this ruined Monarchia thing with a statue and some broken columns and some rocky crags, and then that's going to be my display board. But like I said, very, very excited by it. It's really got my attention at the moment. So that'll be in July, middle of July. And another exciting thing is I'll be playing Sam from the Emperor's Path literally the night before, because he's also going to this tournament. So it'll be a good opportunity to play with the tournament lists the night before, see how I fare against something a little bit different. But Sam seems like a really nice bloke, and I've watched his videos for the last month or so, got in contact with him, and he is pretty local to where I am back home. So it'll be a really nice opportunity to meet up with another YouTuber, have a nice little tournament prep game, and I'll see him probably the day after as well at the tournament, and Harry and I'll be going and having a nice time. So I'm really excited. The summer is looking pretty good hobby-wise. Just got to get these nice, lovely little exams out the way, and once they're done, and I can focus on the important things in life, like my plastic toy soldiers. So yeah, that's super cool. Can't wait. Really, really can't wait. What else has been happening lately, hobby-wise? Let's see. I've had a bit of a clear out, to be fair. I've been trying to sell off some stuff lately, things I don't need, primarily because I was like, well, I've asked myself some questions about what I have in my house. Am I likely to paint this anytime soon, or am I likely to play with this anytime soon? am I likely to enjoy painting or playing with this anytime soon? And if the answer is no, it gets sold. And in fact, selling a lot of the sort of just useless stuff has really helped fund this 30k stuff for the summer, and the big investment in the word bearers. I mean, it's gone a long way, to be fair. So, oh, hello, Mickey Genver. Yes, a live show. Yeah, I try and do these every now and again. It's been a month or so, 4 weeks or so since I've done the last one. Unfortunately, real life is a thing, and well, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever. Looking forward to seeing the got to shoot, but keep up the good work. Oh, thanks, Aceface. And yes, I have no doubt I'll be putting up videos on that tournament, satisfying your thirst for knowledge in the tournament area, I'm sure. Not that I have all the details to share, but yes, I'll catch you later and enjoy the rest of your day. And yes, sorry, back to what I was talking about with replying to Mickey Genver about it being a live show. Yeah, like I said, I try to do these every now and again. I was really hoping a little while ago to sort of make it a proper regular thing, you know, sort of a once or twice a week kind of thing. But then exams are a thing, and they got in the way quite heavily, unfortunately, and they kind of put a stop to that regularity. Because of, you know, revision and all that lovely stuff, and like one friend once told me, in order to revise you must vise in the first place. So there has been some vising and some revising, which is always fun, but most of that is going to be out of the way in a week or two, to be fair. I have 4 exams in 6 days. Life's a problem. I'm thinking of retiring from life. Just I could honestly live in a cave and paint. I could, provided I got a bit of grub and a constant stream of plastic toy soldiers, then I am pretty certain I could just paint. Well, I'm currently, one of my exams on Mickey Genver asks, and I'm currently studying economics at university. It's my second passion outside of hobbying. Like, I really love economics. But yeah, so my exams, I've got 4 exams, lovely. They're all 2 hours long. Don't know why I've got a mouse in my hand, it doesn't work. And they are all essays. And my 4 modules this term are Development Economics 2, so that's studying and developing economies, particularly looking at things like human capital and other resources, other scarce resources for developing countries, and looking at the distribution of income and such, and the disparity between the developing and the developed world, which is really interesting. I have European economic integration, which is quite interesting, to be fair. Predominantly the module is based upon collusion and game theory in European markets, which is pretty interesting. It's not super my cup of tea. I'm a slight Eurosceptic myself, so... But it's a nice, interesting way of learning about the thing I'm sceptical about, I suppose, and looking at it from both sides, because my lecturer's done a really good job of making it even between, you know, what's positive about the European economy and what's negative, and that's very interesting. I've got defence economics coming up, which is my first exam, the one I'm most worried about, in all fairness, which is basically the study of the supply and demand of defence. As in military personnel and the safety, the value of safety, if you like. Basically, it's a public good, so it's not provided by anyone other than the state, because private armies are not profitable. Basically, defence isn't that profitable, but it is required, and it does produce a social benefit, but the private benefit is often quite low. And lastly, I have a core module of Macroeconomics 2, which is basically looking at the bigger picture of economies, in particular looking at things like inflation, unemployment, and economic growth, in particular at a very, very core level of aggregate demand, which is really exciting. I mean, I know this probably sounds quite boring to everyone watching, but this is the kind of stuff that gets me out of bed in the morning, that and plastic toy soldiers. I mean, economics is a close second, to be fair. But yes, and hello Kablams, it is somewhat of a lazy Sunday. I have been working this morning already for a couple of hours, and I'll probably do a couple more later on. But Sundays are sort of a semi-day off, really, aren't they? So, you know, I can't go crazy. Well, I would do if I did too much work, to be fair. Just looking for another paint. Here we are, Xandri Dust, lovely jubbly. That's what I was going to do, actually. Where's the Just currently looking at the white scar bits, seeing what I actually need to paint for this. Cool. Don't need Xandri dust yet. But yeah, so I got my economics is yeah, like I said, that other passion, and the other thing that is absorbing all of my time. Okay. You are smart. I wouldn't go that far. I've had some good results this term, to be fair. I've been really pleased. For those of you who don't know, or might know, but might not know the full extent about my university studies, I'm currently in my second year, but this is my second crack at it. Unfortunately, I had a lot of personal things last year that prevented me from learning, so I decided to sort of, over the summer, I said, right, okay, I'm just going to go again, because what I want from university is a good education, and I felt that I wasn't getting it. Not that the university was to blame, of course. It was more extenuating circumstances that prevented me from doing it. But I'm very pleased with how this term is going in comparison to, or this year, in comparison to last year. Attendance is up and all that. I mean, that's really nice. But I appreciate the compliment, but I probably am not the smartest man in the universe. I think I'll get by. Hello, Spongehammer. Nice to see you joining us. That's 5. Goodness me. Things like painting toys. Yes. Yeah. It's. I'm hoping that my job is going to help me in my pursuit to own all the models that have ever been made. A tireless crusade. Hopefully I'll make some progress on that. So I'm just filling in a gap. So if I'm going quiet, it's because it's like a 5 out of 10 on the delicate scale in terms of paint placement on this. While I wait for that to dry. Oh, fantastic! Congratulations, Sponge, on finishing your first year in college. How did you find it? And what are you studying, actually? Because I don't think I've picked that up in videos lately. That's possibly my fault for being slightly absent thanks to exams myself. But I would be interested to hear on what you're studying. But yeah, so there you go. Economics and models is pretty much, if someone was to say sum yourself up in 2 words, it'd be economics, models. that would be it, really. But yeah, so they're impending, but I'll be done, and then when I'm done, and that's a nice feeling. But yeah, so I'm really, I've got to say, I'm excited for next year. Third year is going to be, I know I can say it now, and then who knows what the future holds, really. But third year is going to be the best year. I won't say of my life, because I don't know. There are going to be days which are better, but it's going to be the best year of my education, because I'm getting the opportunity to do a dissertation, and I know for a lot of people that sounds like hell, writing 10,000 words and reading 100,000, studying design. Oh, that's really cool. Harry actually is just about to hopefully get his degree in product design engineering, and he's really good with all the CAD CAM and that. But sorry, I'm really easily distracted. I should probably get that scene too. Anyway, back to this dissertation thing. So I've got to write a 10,000 word literature review, which sounds daunting, and I know a lot of people would avoid it. It's an option of mine. I don't have to do it, but as soon as I found out it was available to me, I just really wanted to. Primarily because I just love reading and writing about, my work. Something that just really gets me sort of awake and ready to do what I want to do. And I can tell you my dissertation, hopefully, will be on the effects of corruption, basically the effect of corruption on economic growth in developing countries. So development economics is my true passion inside economics. It's the reason I came to university. And so being able to write 10,000 words on why corruption is so bad for developing countries is kind of exciting for me. So getting to sit down in the library for hours on end, basically writing a massive essay, is why I am incredibly excited for next year. One of my dreams is to have something published one day. I don't think it will be my dissertation. But yeah, we'll see. Did I have to study any? Did you have to study cultural studies, John Berger, etc.? No, I've never I have never done a cultural study in my life. Well, that's probably a bad thing. I probably should have, but it's for my course for economics. It's very pure. It's very I'm going to say by the book in its nature. Although my modules are very fluffy, the economics as a whole is very by the book. That being said, I am doing something I'm very excited for it. One of my modules next year will be the history of economics, and goes all the way back to Plato and other philosophers, and that'd be really interesting. I suppose that's somewhat cultural, and I mean you do learn about the cultural effects on economies. Like, here's a really cool thing actually. Just gonna throw a fact at you guys, or try not to get too bored. In Ecuador, I think it was in the early 2000s, they were having some major cultural problems with people turning up late to work every day. Everyone would turn up 10 minutes late because there was an expectation that everyone would turn up 10 minutes late, and it was costing the economy billions of pounds, or equivalents of billions of pounds. Obviously they don't work in that currency, but it was costing them so much the government actually made a big drive to get people to go to work on time, and they've seen positive effects from it. But it just shows you culture affects economics. That's mainly what that was about. Just remember, it is the content that counts, not the number of words. Yeah, very true. Very true indeed. In fact, that's something that I've taken quite a lot in some of my essays. I very rarely reach the word count. So the word count's a maximum word count, not a minimum, obviously. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any marks. But for maximum word counts, I very rarely reach it because I try and keep things as concise as possible. I realise the lecturer is probably going to, read 100 of these essays, and he's not going to want me to just repeat myself and drag on for no reason. So I do try and limit myself to just get no more than the word count for sure, because you're allowed 10% over, but I never use it. And if I can, try and summarise things concisely. And once I've made my point, sort of move on. Because I'm quite good at rambling, which is probably why I enjoy doing the live streams, because that is just rambling. Getting distracted and rambling is all I ever do. Anyway, I should probably go back to the hobby. What else have I got coming up? So for the future, in terms of channel-y stuff, what webcam am I using? I'm using the Logitech XC, the Logitech C920, I think it is. Absolutely love it. This is actually running at half capacity. It's only running at 480p. It will do 1080p. My computer, on the other hand, will not do 1080p. It really, really hates it, and then the live stream just goes terribly. So I do have it running at half capacity, but it is a lovely webcam, very crisp, even at the lower resolutions. And I would recommend getting it. It's like 50 quid. Does all my work for me. Does all my video recording is done using this camera, apart from any battle reports that are mobile battle reports. But yes, other stuff that's coming up in the future. Let's talk about the future. Are those Ultramarines? They're Deathwatch. So they are basically the Xenos hunters. This one is an Ultramarine. Ultramarine, he's Deathwatch Marine Pausanias from the Warriors of Ultramar book. But I'm also painting up this chappy here. Do you know what? The focus is crap. Let's just do something about that. So let's bring him in. Here he is. This is Yagutan. He is a White Scar Deathwatch chappy. So they're black, primarily black, painted with an airbrush, so a slightly greyer, higher highlights. But in person, they do look a lot darker. But I'm currently just doing the shoulder pad work, getting those down. But yes, they aren't Ultramarines, but two of them are from the Ultramarines, if that makes sense. But yes, stuff for the future. That's right. I'm so bad at getting distracted. I love having the live chat up there because you guys fuel this, to be fair. If I didn't have you guys watching, it would be very boring, I'm sure. I am in the process of setting up a cool little project with a couple of other YouTubers, which is going to be a sort of collaborative channel. It's very early doors. I'm kind of been working hard on my breaks at getting some editing software stuff down. So I'm using Lightworks, and I'm really enjoying using Lightworks. It's giving me opportunities to edit videos that I've never had, with Windows Movie Maker, and it's free-ish. I mean, it's free, and you can export at 720p for free, and that's all I'll ever do because that's all I run my camera at most. But the options are there for it to be 1080p if you pay for it. Like I said, I won't be, only because I can't record at 1080p. So there's no point in me outputting it because you're limited by what you record on. But this collaborative channel is going to be sort of just a nice way of getting some people together and doing things together. So joint works, a way to promote everyone who's involved, a way to get everyone sort of motivated about the hobby. Not just those making the content, but also those watching, hopefully. But I'm currently working on some unboxing stuff for it. So those of you who have looked at any of the TT Combat Terrain, I have thus far unboxed and built the Industrial Hive large platform stuff. Really perfect for Shadow War Armageddon, if that's on your to-do list. Also perfect for other kind of post-apoc games and stuff like that. And do you know the other people? You may well do. So definitely one person who has shown an interest, especially in sort of the board game production side of things, is Mike from Crew Angelusilysis. And I'm also going to drag Harry kicking and screaming into the content producing world, making him do some, because he does some really nice work in terms of the actual construction of miniatures, like building stuff up, and he does some nice basing. So I'm basically going to use him and abuse him in that respect to create more content because, well, I think it would go nicely. And in terms of other stuff, still other people on the cards for other things, and I'm always looking at sort of expanding from just the a few people to get it up. Ideally, I want someone who can produce a battle report. I won't say every week, but maybe every other week. That would be ideal. Doesn't matter what game system, just something to give more people more stuff to look at. But it's not going live until the summer. It's all very preliminary thought process at the moment. I've been thinking about it for the last 3.5 weeks, to be honest with you. Kind of planning things out, taking baby steps. But I've put together a little welcome video, and I'm trying to work on this editing software. It gives me a reason to push myself a little bit further, I think. And this channel will become more of a hobby update channel, just telling you what I'm painting about, doing streams like this, off-the-cuff streams like this, and just having a nice time. That's what this channel will be, basically, just chilling out. And then any sort of serious content will probably, I say serious, you know what I mean? None of it's actually that serious, let's face it. But but yes, so that is something for the future, something I'm hoping to get together. Things I'm working on for this channel at the moment. Hoping to do another speed painting tutorial. I've picked up a Warzone miniature. No, it's not Warzone Resurrection, but it's the original Warzone. And I'm going to paint him up like an Imperial Guardsman. And hopefully I'll do a quick speed painting tutorial for you guys on that one. Because I'm enjoying those. I am enjoying those a lot, actually. I mean, I've got the obviously you've seen the Kroot and the Tyranid Warrior. I've got myself a little painting box, which I'm going to use for increasing the production quality. So it's got a really nice bright white LED thing beaming down so you can actually see clearly. It'll have a nice white background, so it'll be easy to look at, basically. And an opportunity for those who don't like painting to learn how to paint, because I know there are people, not like Mickey Genver. She is an incredible artist, by the way. If you haven't seen some of her work, I really urge you to go and look at it, because I've not seen anyone paint like that before. Her Glotkin was beautifully disgusting, or disgustingly beautiful. I don't know. Either way around, really. But for those who don't like painting, I know there is a large proportion of people out there who don't enjoy it. I wanted to make a series for people who basically don't like it. So there you go. Lots of basic speed painting stuff. Newbie still wants to launch the Broccoli and Newbie channel with me, but I'm not sure the internet is ready for that. I think that the internet is almost ready for anything. Let's face it, there's some stuff on the internet that shouldn't be out there, but 9 times out of 10 the internet's ready for whatever anyone's ready to put out. So you should do it. You should get involved, make some stuff. And you're more than welcome. Like it's art. They're not just painted miniatures, they're art. And I know you could say that about sort of anything that evokes emotion, I suppose. But for coming from a black and white economist who doesn't have maybe that way of looking at stuff, like your stuff is artwork, these are toy soldiers, and that's the difference basically. So there you go. Some philosophy for you there. But yeah, so like I said, I want to make painting tutorials for people who don't want to paint, because I want people to paint more. It's very easy if you like painting and if you're good at it to go and do it. I love painting, so it's very easy for me to sit down and paint stuff, but for those who just want to play the game, it's quite difficult to sit down and motivate yourself to just go out and batch paint some guys or whatever. So that's what the speed painting is for. It's just to get more painted minis on the table. I always say I'll play against anyone, because I'm not picky. But if you paint your army, no matter how good or bad it is, and you went through the effort of painting it before you got to the tabletop, then bonus points to you. You're one of my favourite opponents, basically, because there's nothing quite like going against a painted army. If you're willing to put the effort in, then props to you. Even if it's not incredible, even if it is the 3-colour minimum or it's not particularly neat, if you've put the effort in and you're willing to put that effort in, then good on you. So I'll probably keep going for another couple of minutes, I think. Probably not too much more. I don't want to take up all of your time. And I will have to pick up Amy from the gym relatively soon. But yeah, so I just wanted to share with you some exciting things I've got coming up. Kablam says serious content for serious people. Totally. I mean, that's what this channel is, isn't it? You know, like, look how serious I'm being right now. Mickey says, it's a good idea. With the tools these days, it's possible to produce something half decent very quickly. It is. Like I said, back in the log a while ago, I had my Tyranid speed painting tutorial. That was unbelievable. I could batch those out in a minute. A Tyranid warrior, because it was black and it was dry brushed and it had you know, so simple techniques, but it gave it a little detail and it was on the tabletop. There you go, job done. You know, if you want to go to a tournament, often they'll have a 3-colour minimum. And when you think about it, you're like, oh, 3-colour minimum, that sounds like an effort. It's really not. Like, you base coat it one colour, you paint some metallics, and then you add in a different colour of an eye or something, and Bob's your uncle, 3-colour minimum. It's really simple. And I'd love to see more people, even a simple approach, I don't mind, you know. And obviously, if you have one of these shiny machines, then no excuses, people. Things get painted quickly with an airbrush. They really do, actually. Like my speed painted High Elves, which I'm working on. Oh, hello Black Jack Legacy, catching us for the end of this stream. Speed painted elves I was working on, they got done in no time at all. Had an absolute whale of a time doing them, but they really were sort of, and they're done. Especially the gold, that went down very quickly, so that was exciting. But that's something I'm trying to encourage, basically, people painting miniatures. Doesn't have to be incredible, because if you, at the end of the day, if you want a good painting tutorial, you go and watch Vince Venturella, because he makes great painting tutorials. If you want to watch, you know, if you want inspiration for things like that, you take a look at the Google Plus page that he set up, where Mickey puts up great art. Vince puts up some amazing stuff on there as well, and so does the rest of the community. Actually, some of the stuff on there is unbelievable. But if you want a rough and ready paint scheme that just gets it done, then I feel like sometimes that's an element that's lacking. So I wanted to approach that and fill that gap in the market. I feel like my speed painting is okay. What you have to remember is you're not painting every detail. You're letting the brush catch the details that matter, and you're leaving the other ones behind, because at the end of the day, you want to get it done. So, you know, I'm being the noble one, you know, filling the gap for everyone else. No, I'm joking. I love speed painting. Something, however, I would like to do slightly more delicately, per se, is this Stormcast Liberator. I actually have a spare one from the Storm of Sigmar set that I bought ages ago. So I'm going to prime him up, because this is a disgusting primer. I'll strip him down and give him a nice prime, and then I'm going to paint him box art style, basically as best I can, in a nice simple manner, now that I've got some nice blues and some nice golds. So there'll be that, but that'll probably go on the collaboration channel as part of like a 2 or 3 video series, basically building up the blue in one video, building up the gold, building up the metallics, kind of taking it step by step with you guys, because step by step videos are nice, and they're really easy to make, because you do it in a process and then you record the process. There you go, job done. So I'll take 5-10 minutes for questions. If anyone's got any questions they want to ask, that'd be cool. You fire away, I'll answer anything. It can be personal, it can be hobby related. I'm not fussed, but it gives you, maybe 10 minutes just for that. A nice little way of rounding off the live stream. Blackjack Legacy says 90% of people just want them painted as quick as possible. We really appreciate fantastic painted miniatures, but big armies to the standard that most people can reach, certainly initially. Exactly, you just want to get stuff out there sometimes, you just want to get it on the table, and for that, black is a great colour. And I know this is just like it's so nice to do a black speed paint because you prime it or you paint it black. I say prime. You should never just paint on primer. I don't think anyway. So you base coat it all black. You grab this fat brush right here, okay, and then you just dry brush the crap out of it, and there you go. Am I excited about the new Super Space Marines? No, I know that's Space Marines. I am actually. I don't want a whole lot. I just want a couple. Probably paint them up for my Dark Angels. But I just think, why not? They're cool new minis. They look awesome. It's more plastic crack. That's sort of what it comes down to. Yes, I love the classic Space Marine. These Deathwatch are actually slightly bigger than the classic Space Marine, but I love the classic Space Marine. And yeah, there you go. I suppose any more models that I collect or anything that Games Workshop puts out, I'll probably end up buying. Anything that someone puts out, I'll probably want to buy. And so yes, I am very excited. I think they look cool, and the 2 wounds thing is awesome as well. Kablams asked, do I have any opinions on vehicles attacking in the combat phase and even charging? Yes, I do. It's really great. It's simple. It makes sense. The ramming and stuff was really thematic back in 7th ed. It is still thematic in some respects, but it's clunky. There's no point in having an entire separate rule for basically what it does anyway. So yes, I want a nice big Land Raider ramming in to someone else. I know that it's not fantastic and exciting and blah blah blah. I know that it's not got the separate mechanic, and I know that some people are going to be like, oh well, how's it going to swing its las cannon arm and hit someone? That's not what it's about. Stop. Some people may be a bit picky. Just come at it from a logical perspective, gaming perspective, and yes, I'm a fan of it. Mickey Jennifer says bigger Marines were needed. I agree. You look at the stories. When I read the books, one Marine is a one-man army. Like a kill team of Deathwatch can take out an entire frickin' hive ship. You don't get that on the tabletop, and that's what I'm hoping 8th edition brings out, and that's what I'm hoping these bigger Marines will fulfill, if you know what I mean. That kind of 5 guys can take on 20, 30 Hormagaunts, no problem at all. So yeah, I think it's exciting times with 8th ed, and yes, I'm excited for the vehicles just charging in, having a whale of a time. Hello, Claydog. Obviously I missed it as it scrolled up, but I'll come back to it and say hello now. Hope you're having a nice time. We've got another 5-6 minutes. So again, any questions, I don't mind. While I wait for things to dry, and then Fanny. You'll see this is what I do a lot when I'm painting it. Just when the camera's not on. I'll paint a colour. I'll be like, oh nice, and then I'll just take a few minutes just to look at the whole miniature, appreciate the sculpt, put it back down again, look at something else, come back, have a little look again, a second look. That's an important part of my painting process. Some alliteration for you there. Then I'll put it down. Then I'll paint a colour on it. You'll probably notice I've done that in the last few live streams. I'm not super drilled in when I'm supposed to be. What am I going to paint next? Let's start highlighting some silver. Any plans to go to Warhammer Fest? Do you know what I'm going to do before I answer that question? Google what that is. Warhammer Fest. Apologies if the typing is loud. It shouldn't be too bad. It's in the 20... you see, they picked the wrong frickin' time. So the 27th and 28th of May, I have exams. Sad face. It's in Covent. I would have loved to have gone, but they picked exam season, which I can understand. The May is that time where everything's happening. But unfortunately, I won't be going. No, I will probably read about what other people are doing there. But next week is the start of my exams, and I'm frightened enough as it is. I don't think I need a 2-day weekend going off and doing something. When I should definitely be reading books and answering questions. But it does look cool, and I am interested in seeing what happens. Do you know anyone who's going? I haven't actually spoken to anyone about it, so I don't really know the dealio. I'd be interested to hear if you're going or something, or if someone you know is going. Oh God, shaking the Vallejo paints, especially yellow. I hate painting yellow. It's one of those fun ones. That being said, Avalanche Sunset makes my life easier. I only picked it up for pretty much this white scar and another model, and now I feel like I can paint an Imperial Fist army. So. Christ. Hooray for small details. I would love to hear what you guys... oh, you're planning a trip with the guys from Gaming Group. Saturday to Warhammer World, Sunday to Warhammer Fest. Lovely. I suppose Coventry isn't actually too far from Nottingham, really. I mean, it's not like next door, but it's not far. So that's a trip probably worth making. So what are you guys working on? That's what I'll ask. As we've got 4 or 5 minutes left. What are you guys working on? I'm always interested in hearing what you guys have on the table, on the painting station, if you like. I look through my super organised paints for my highlighting colours. So like I said, this Deathwatch is kind of a mini in-between project. I've got stuff to paint elsewhere, but if I can't be bothered to paint stuff elsewhere, then I'll just pick up a Deathwatch model and just do a little bit of work on it. You live in Newcastle, so it's worth combining the two. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Claydog is painting some Death Rattle commission. Love the Death Rattle. Skeletons, lots of skeletons, obviously. Yeah, lots of skeletons and raids. Karen raids are awesome. I love them. I think they're very, very cool. Craig is working on some Plague Ratties. Love it. Really like the way they're coming together, and I know you're on the Ages. You're heavy into the Age of Sigmar train at the moment, which is really cool. Blackjack Legacy, working on first 40k army, ready for 8th. That's pretty good. 8th is looking like it's going to be a lot of fun, so a good time to get in. And you are painting Space Wolves with a red theme instead of the usual grey. Very nice. I presume you'll be taking up some kind of specific fluff for that. Mickey is working on a Gaunt Summoner, so that's obviously going to be another one of those worth looking at miniatures. Oh crap, went on the white, never mind. I'll fix that later. Okay. Just quickly get this highlight coat down. Well, I'll have to end it here because I am being drafted off to. Basically, I'm going to become Parker for the next 15-20 minutes and go and pick up my lady from the gym. Slowly getting more paint on the Revenant Titan. God, yeah, they're big uns, aren't they? That'll be interesting. So thank you ever so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I'm hoping that the live streams will pick up again soon. I'll probably end up doing 1 or 2 over the next sort of week or 2, just to keep me sane, basically. Because if I don't, I'll absolutely lose it before my exams, and that won't be good. Sanity is relatively important. AOS skirmish. Yeah, that's probably worth a video on its own, to be honest, because it's something I want to try. So there you go. You got that much information out of me. I love the look of it, and I'm ready to play it. There we go. That's a nice little glaze on there. So let me just wash my brush. Let Amy know that I am on my way. On my way, obviously. I hope she doesn't watch. The 101 messages of, are you coming to pick me up yet? Anyway, I digress. Thank you ever so much for joining me on the stream. And hopefully you'll see some more in the future. If not, don't forget to catch up on the other videos I've put out. Obviously, I put out loads soon, recently. Yeah, no, maybe not. So thank you ever so much, guys. And I will catch you in the next one. Don't forget, have fun.